Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Good afternoon, viewers. I welcome you to Thursday edition of In the Newsroom. Coming to you live from OSBC TV. I am Adebare Ijimakide. As you have already known, it is a current affairs program where we examine issues of national interest. And also, today we shall be taking a look at the new price regime and the surging inflation in the country. That has been the talk of the town. Everybody has been talking about the state of the economy. And I'm not alone on the program. I have my colleagues with me, joining me in the newsroom to deliberate on these vital topics. With me first, by my immediate right hand side is Sunday Adedion.
Good evening, viewers.
Next to him is Kayode Adebayo.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us in the newsroom.
Good afternoon, viewers at home, and I welcome you on board this edition of the program. Thank you.
The new price regime and the surging inflation. How will you react to the inflation rate in the country? Even particularly, recently, Nigerians are experiencing surge in the pump price of petrol.
How do you expect me to react? What a pathetic situation. The problem with, the fundamental reason for price increase, for inflation, is the oil. PMS is the driving factor of everything. You want to board a bus from one place to the other, you want to carry goods from one place to the other, you manufacturers, look at the lights, incessant power outage. You want to produce, you make use of fuel
to power the generator.
There's nothing you want to do whereby you cannot make use of fuel. If you say you want to make use of solar, it depends on the capacity of the engine you want to use. And as a result, you end up making use of fuel. So, what do you expect? When the price of fuel increases, virtually it will affect everything. The problem with this oil industry is shrouded in history. The president came and said, so there's nothing like subsidy again. These current leaders are the one that discouraged Jonathan in 2012. Jonathan moved the price to, I think, 140. They say, no, this one we need to solve, we need to actually do this, we do that. Then eventually there was protests, but Jonathan backed down, and I think 97 or thereabouts. These are the same set of people now in power. Look at the rate of increase since 2015. Though there's no precedent that has ever come that has moved. The first thing, one of the things they do is jack up price of fuel. If you go by history, you see that there's no, though some will first of all jack it up, then break it down. Obasanjo did it, push it up, brought it down. Abacha did it, push it up, brought it down. It was only Yar'Adua, because he met it at, I think, 75 naira, he reduced it to 65. But because his regime was short-lived, probably if he had ended up spending ended up with his even first term,
If he had lived longer
if he had lived longer than he lived then, I surely would have increased it more than that 65 naira. So there are so many, they have told us so many reasons. People take it out of the region where it is expected to use. You ask them to lift oil from abroad. Some people will lift 1 million, and they will they will collect money for probably 2 or 3 million liters. Whose fault?
Okay, what's your
Look, let me land. If I'm a manager, if I put someone, please manage this thing. I didn't manage it to my satisfaction. What should I have done? I will show him the way and put another person there who might be trusted. So there are all the reasons they have been given. We are not satisfied. Somebody should come and tell us the problem within that oil industry. Probably they do it just like MTN kind of a thing. So we are not satisfied. Somebody should tell us the problem they are encountering. Why are leaders subjected us to this untold hardship?
All right. Kade,
Yeah.
how will you react on that?
Thank you.
How are Nigerians feeling concerning the current
Nigerians are
rate
not
of
feeling well.
inflation?
You see, I must tell you that Nigerians are not feeling well. But I'm not going to say that the current hardship we are facing as a result of oil crisis, I will attribute it to lack of foresight on the past. On the part of our past leaders. Let me say that. What do I mean?
There's several attempts have been made to
I'm
revive the revival.
coming. What do I mean? Nigeria has been a monolithic economy right from time, making its entire life dependent on oil. And now, oil has now become a major factor, a major determining factor for the life of individual citizens in this country. Why should that be? If the successive administrations have been proactive enough, they shouldn't have watched to the extent that crude oil will now become a determinant factor of our life in this country. And aside from that, who are the cabal behind this petroleum that government cannot even dismantle them? Who are they? Are they spirits? Now, people are shouting that government doesn't care about us. It doesn't have a human feeling, and that is the reason why we are suffering here. Now, we are suffering because there's a particular cabal behind this oil sector. But my question is that, why is it that government has been unable, over the years, not even this current administration alone, over the years, successive administrations have not been able to tackle this cabal behind the petroleum sector?
Administration has ever tamed them.
No administration in this country has ever tamed the cabal behind the oil sector. Why? Can we now say that successive administrations in this country are only interested in punishing the citizens of this country? And see, oil, because of the strategic position occupied by oil in our economy, whatever anything happen to petrol now in this country, it will affect all other sectors of economy, and that is the reason why we continue to have surging inflation on a daily basis.
Oil is the driving factor.
So now, I keep wondering, whether we have government in this country at all.
All right. Now,
Let me.
you want to add to
let
that?
me add
Add to that.
just a
Right.
little thing to what he has said. That what is our problem? Our problems are our leaders. If we have leaders with vision right from the beginning, things will not have
Go on.
deteriorated
To this
to
level.
where it is. There was a time of oil boom. Even before the discovery of oil, it was after the discovery of oil that we refer to Nigeria as monolithic economy.
You're right.
Yes, what was the
Agriculture
before,
was the mainstay of the
before
economy.
the advent of oil, agriculture was the mainstay of our economy. In the southwest here we have cocoa. In the east they have palm oil. In the north they have groundnut. That is why what is called groundnut pyramid
Yes.
sprung up. So the problem facing us are our leaders, and not until don't let me say not until we react violently, because it
Until
is
we get
very
it right, until the
eh,
country
not
gets it right.
until we get right leaders in the position of authority, things will continue to be like this.
Well, people have been clamoring for the nation to have its own refinery. We have some refineries in the country in the past. The Port Harcourt refinery is there.
The cabal will
The
not
worry is
make
there.
it work. That is the problem.
Why is it difficult that the country has not been able to
You see-
even get one functioning
You see,
since all these days?
Adebare, let me tell you one thing.
And you note that the labor unions and others have been clamoring that put this refinery in place before you start
let me-
this oil subsidy removal policy.
Look, why is it that our refineries became moribund in the first instance? Is it not as a result of this cabal we are talking about? Eh? You see, what is happening in the petroleum sector is equally happening in government-owned agencies across the country. Those who are there, those who are feeding fat, from maintenance of those things will not allow it to work.
If it
Because
was,
yes, because
what would
they will
be?
they will prefer to enrich their pocket at the expense of functionality of that. I mean, the refinery,
Okay.
and that is you see, human factor is another major problem troubling us in this country. People are interested in their own welfare, in their own well-being. Even if they will attain it at the expense of the majority of Nigeria, they don't care.
Not even if they will attain it, they
So now
do it at the
we
expense.
are clamoring for good leaders. Let us pray for good individuals first before you can. You see, okay now, if you are talking, if you are saying you want good leaders, is it not from these individuals within the society that the leader will emerge?
Yes.
Let's pray for good individuals within the society first before you can now begin to talk of good leaders.
What are other measures? What are the other ways out? How do this challenge be surmounted? We have identified the challenge, the leadership problem. What is the way out?
Like I am saying now, until individual is ready to purge himself of individualism. You see what we call individualism?
To shun the selfish interest.
Selfish interest, that is the problem.
The spirit of nationalism, patriotism must come in first. And love
You
of the
must
neighbors and the country.
you must prioritize the national interest above self-interest, and that is only when we can have a way out of this quagmire.
What?
What's your own take
Well, the situation
on that?
of this country
The solutions, the way out.
requires divine intervention. The leaders who are responsible for our predicaments, those who are following there are watching them. Some stack huge amount of money somewhere and somebody is watching. Oh, let me follow the footsteps of this man, so that the money which my generation cannot finish, I will keep it somewhere at the expense of others, at the expense. You know, American, the moment they wake up, they say, God bless Americans. How many people has woken up and say, God bless Nigeria? Though the situation, our leaders are responsible for our situation, but we, the followers, those who are put in charge of certain things, must equally watch themselves. Not until they watch themselves. We had so many stories about subsidy, government paying subsidy at the expense of some people and at the expense of the masses. The masses who are supposed to enjoy the subsidy are the ones suffering. So not until individual make it a habit to prioritize the interest of the country, that is when there will be peace.
All right. My own submission about that, as part of the way out, is that we have identified, Nigerians have identified that one of the major challenges is the leadership problem. I believe that if the leaders should continue to show good example, I think it will help the subordinates, the masses, the Nigerians to emulate the good leaders. If having a leader who abstain from corrupt practices and show by example in truthfully being transparent, and that find that anybody found culpable is brought to book, punished, then everybody will see that we adjust to say that yes, this idea of corruption is no more condoned in the country. It has been practiced in other countries. I heard of the situations in Saudi Arabia, in China, that you dare not even go and steal. That if anybody is found culpable in stealing government or anything, or embezzling government properties, such will we face severe penalty.
Let me cut you short. If you happen to watch a viral video of one African country, who embezzled probably one minister who embezzled the money.
Is it not Venezuela? I'm not very sure that
one African country.
Okay.
Look at the way.
Okay, the former minister of that country.
A particular country.
Yes.
Look at the way he was flogged.
Openly.
So
it was disciplined for embezzling the public fund.
And it serves
as a lesson.
That one will serve as a lesson.
You see, that kind of thing cannot work in Nigeria. If you catch somebody stealing money in this country, even before you take him to, if you get him arrested, before you take him down to the police station, you see some lawyers coming up in his defense. They will now begin to quote, several factions of the country's constitution in support of that atrocity.
So we will be hearing cases of countries which they are swallowing some money,
which means
Nigeria.
Part of our problems.
I have said it. I have said it. We are the architect of our own problems.
So you have just brought to limelight now that judiciary has a major role.
He's not talking about judiciary.
I'm not talking about judiciary. I'm talking about individuals in different professions, especially legal professions. You see them coming up to defend somebody that you see.
So they also they are part of the society and they have a role to play in sanitizing.
No, they are already playing their role now, and that is the reason why we found ourselves where we are today.
Look, what you have just said, that is one of the problems of our constitution. Let me set an example. Before the bad governance protest, the constitution says protest is legitimate. taking cognizance of the kind of country we are.
Excuse me.
Wait,
No,
let
no,
me
no,
let
no,
me
no,
la-
see,
let
see.
me la- let
Some
me la-
people will say we
let
have
me-
right to, but they will not tell you the limitation to that right
To
as
that-
enshrined in the constitution.
that is
They will only be telling you that you have right to
That is-
protest,
that is-
but they will not teach you that the constitution that gives you right to protest
That
also give the limitation
to
as
that
to
protest.
that protest.
exercise of rights.
That is the lacuna in our constitution.
No, it's
Let
not.
me-
It's
let-
not
let
lacuna.
me-
It's not lacuna.
let me-
It's the
let me
lacuna is
la-
on the part of individuals.
It's a kind of check and balances.
Yeah.
let me land. Those who are aware of the consequences of having that protest were appealing. Some lawyers sprung up as no, it is their right to let them. Now they went on protest. Look at the monumental damage the protest caused. If not because some lawyers backed them, that protest wouldn't have come. And that was what in order to support your idea of lawyers, some lawyers even behind a problem, because the constitution will say this person has the right to this, so he must not be punished. And depending on the way the lawyer argues his case, that is what the judge will rely on.
But then, you see, when we are talking about the rule of law, this issue of protest comes under the rule of law, isn't it?
I only brought in protest just to
But then,
as an
even
example.
this rule of law itself, even a layman on the street knows that the rule of law has limitations. When we were in secondary school,
Yes, limitation to the rule of law.
limitations to the rule of law.
All right.
No. The right to speech.
Okay.
But that
That
right
right has
to speech
limitations.
is limited by the law of libel. Do you understand? But these lawyers, they will not explain all this nitty-gritty to those people.
Until
now,
the
when people now, troop out on the street, they will now begin to burn. Instead of, okay, carry out your protest, make your grievances known to the authorities concerned.
I understand you that there's right to speech,
there is
and
limitation
expression.
to that right.
But at the
Yes.
same time,
Even
hate
freedom of
speech,
association.
is forbidden.
Yes. Hate speech is a limitation to that
Yes,
freedom of
yes.
speech.
So everything must be moderate. You exercise moderation, whatever
When you
you
now
are
go
doing.
on the street, you
Give
begin to
human
burn
beings a
people
yard,
down.
you
All right,
walk a mile.
all right. Let's still come back to this issue of inflation we are talking about. We're still on it. You see, now the pump price of fuel has just been increased. The federal government denied the allegation. The NNPC gave some reasons. Perhaps you'll be able to tell us some of the reasons and your feelings about that. And now, the NNPC are to be getting fresh supply from the Dangote refinery, the private refinery that's just taken off now. Why, without giving these independent marketers the opportunity for now, except there's a development. And you get me now? They are going to be delivering to NNPC. And the NNPC is to be dictating the price. How do you see this one? How do you see all this process?
It's not that.
Do you see it as a welcome development to address the sovereignty of Nigeria?
It cannot be a welcome development. The issue NNPC is a separate entity. Individual marketers are separate entities. Why can't they go directly to buy from Dangote?
Dangote,
Why must they go through NNPC? Dangote if I were Dangote, I would.
You know, there is an idea that NNPC
if I were Dangote,
that NNPC is the body that started with the responsibility to dictate the price.
why? Because they want to make money for Nigeria, the money that they themselves will embezzle. The NNPC, the NNPC that is not accountable. You are telling us there is no subsidy, and you now came back to tell us that you are owing some billions of naira or
$6 billion.
Who is fooling who?
For fuel supplies
Say there is no subsidy.
or importing fuel.
So if there is no subsidy, how do you come about the huge debt? So it boils to the fact that our leaders are responsible for our plight. There is no reason why they must, why independent marketers must go through NNPC.
Before accessing Dangote's.
If I want to buy something, I can easily go to any company and say, okay, I want to buy this. If I have my money which I want to pay. Honestly, I don't know the problem we are having. You said landing costs.
The difference between
No, you said landing costs, exchange rates are the determinant factor that is responsible for hiking price. Dangote is here in Nigeria. He's buying crude in naira. The petrol will not come through through port, either waterway or.
So there's no need for foreign exchange.
So would there be any need for foreign exchange? His product was manufactured in naira. So where should the hike in price of Dangote?
All right. Because of our time, we still know that this increase in pump price of petrol is having adverse effects on the prices of the goods and commodities.
What is the driving
how
factor
can
of
that challenge be
everything?
surmounted? Because if it keeps continuing now, the range at which they sell petroleum now is between 1,000 to 1,400, and in some cases the black market is over 2,000. What's the way out?
Let me tell you one thing. A country that is practicing blind capitalism, there's nothing you can do. Because everything has to be determined by the law of demand and supply. And if you don't have enough supply, definitely price will go up. Because there will be more demand for the limited product. And by so doing, the price will go up. So I don't think there is any way out of it.
With the
because the kind of capitalism we are practicing in this country it's not good for our well-being. It's not good for our well-being. Unregulated capitalism. It's not ideal.
No price control.
No price control.
Okay.
The only way
because of our time.
The only way out, I think, now that Dangote has rolled out his petrol.
Okay.
If I have the capacity to go to Dangote refinery,
Okay.
let me take my car there and buy. Dangote can as well look at some major towns and cities. Allow individual to erect filling stations there.
Okay.
Bring out tankers, load from Dangote, take it to those major towns and cities. For distribution, the price, it will crash the price.
I was about to ask you that. What do you expect government to do in this situation when the prices of goods and commodities keep rising? Your advice?
That's your own. Do you have any advice? The only way out for this inflation to come down is to do something about hiking price of petrol.
I think the government has done well by ordering that crude should be sold to Dangote at naira value. And now it is now expected of Dangote not to hike the price over and above what is sold to him in naira value. That is my advice.
Okay. I think Dangote has a good intention, according to the reports I heard, that he means to contribute meaningfully, positively to economic growth in the country, to bring relief. That's why it was one of the reasons why he cited the refinery in the country. And fortunately for the company, the government has agreed to be granted the company the authority to be getting fuel. supply, a good supply from the NLPC for refining. So we look forward for better results and better living standard of Nigerians. Everybody has a role to play. The government has its own role to play, and we should also contribute to. All together, we should contribute to the progress of the country. Viewers, this is the convenient point on the program this evening. We have been trashing out issues relating to inflation in the country, and this is a convenient point. Join our colleagues tomorrow for another edition of In the Newsroom. Special thanks to my colleagues. It's good to have you on the In the Newsroom this afternoon.
Thank you for
having us.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it.
For Bernard, touched up and over. It will not count as a Messi goal, but it is magical.
She wanted, in fact, to call him Moses.
Pain for them until the spirit of Newcastle has come to shore in the person of the new reign. Some months after the death of the previous king, the priests of this village in the north fetched Newcastle from the Nile. They then remake this image of him, also one of his tall warrior sons, black. The priests will parade the effigies made of bamboo and ostrich feathers through the villages of the northern shore, retracing the movements of Newcastle and Dak in their conquest of the north of the country. Finally, they'll reach the center. Newcastle will capture the ref-elect and install him as his representative. But the effigies and the priests cannot begin their journey until all the other preparations are ready. For example, ivory, silver, beads, spears and skins have to be collected for the ref-elect, each by the particular village made responsible for the task by Newcastle. These men in the southernmost district of the country will go to hunt the antelopes whose skins will adorn the king and other officials on the final day of his installation. The chief who has called the young men for the hunt has also arranged a dance. This island in the middle of the Nile is a sanctuary for the very rare yak antelopes. When Uganda stopped here on his journey of conquest, he thought them animals of the greatest beauty, and they've been reserved for royalty ever since. Chinook commoners are forbidden to hunt them, except these particular villages, before the installation of a new rep. They did eventually succeed in spearing the required number of antelopes, and the chief of the area will take the skins to Poshoda, where they will be kept along with the other precious objects ready for the installation. The Adeleke waits in the royal capital for the different villagers to fulfill their ritual obligations, meanwhile attending to their disputes. The installation starts when the effigies of Nikam and Dak begin their 10-day journey towards Osun. Dak, the tall warrior son, paves the way, while Nikam follows. Just as, according to Shilluk history, Dak led the military raids, while Nikam organized the people into one political unit. Wherever they pass, the people flock to pay homage to the founders of their nation. In every village, a shrine is prepared to receive them. While Nikang rests inside, Dak comes out to dance and cleanse those who ask for blessing. The people sing the praises of Nikang and Dak, songs which record their exploits. The journey is a time of spiritual renewal, part of the regeneration of the whole nation. It is the essence of the installation. No one should stare at Dak, or let him come too close. The priests with their hippo whips clear a path for him. The installation of the new ref will reaffirm the social order and the political identity of Chinook, a nation made up of competing localities. The people feel disorder threatens them, until Newcanga has possessed the king to be. So, men must not carry spears, only stalks from the maize fields. Then they are safe to boast of the military might of their own villages and to issue challenges to others. Every Chinook is a soldier of Newcastle, and all the villagers mount a guard of honor for the effigies as they escort them through their locality. Like the crusading soldiers in medieval Europe, the Chinook saw an intimate connection between military prowess against outsiders and spiritual strength. Historically, they extended their territory by military raids against neighboring tribes. More recently, in the 19th century, they had to defend themselves against slave traders. Today there's peace, but the conflicts of the past have not been forgotten. The journey takes the form of a pilgrimage, retracing the movements of Nikan. The priest must stop wherever he stops, even if it's only to commemorate a tree under which he shaded himself from the heat of the day. Any pause creates an opportunity for the elders to challenge a rival village. In the old days, Reth led the Shilluk in war and was the final arbiter of their disputes. Today, his role as chief judge has been formalized by the Sudanese government into that of second-class magistrate. But perhaps his most important function was to serve as a focus of political loyalty and national identity, and that he continues to be today. One of the last villages they honor is the village where the late Reth is buried. His widows pay homage to Nikambo by singing the funeral lament which praises their late husband. After a 10-day journey, the effigies of Nikang and Dak approach the royal camp. They will halt at Adon, village 3 miles to the north of Pushoda. Here they will prepare for their capture of the Reth-elect. On his part, the Reth-elect shows his fear of Nikang by retreating under cover of night to Debala, the village 3 miles to the south of Pushoda. At this stage, people from the north, by tradition, gather to support Nikang, and people from the south to support the Reth-elect. After 3 days, the two will meet in a mock battle, which is the dramatic climax of the installation. Just before his flight to Debala, Ayangane changed his Shilluk bodyguard for a bodyguard of government police. He decided that in the modern world, he needed more than spears to protect him. Traditionally, the Reth-elect's stay in Debala is considered a time of particular danger to him. 3 families hold the kingship in turn, and the 33rd Reth can only come from Ayangane's own family. One of his brothers would automatically replace him should he be killed or even slightly wounded before his acceptance by Nikang. There was a rumor that one of them was planning to kill him. It was also said that Ayangane wanted to look like a modern leader. On the Reth-elect's first evening in Debala, the chiefs of the southern Shilluk gathered to greet him formally. But things were beginning to go wrong, perhaps because people were afraid of the government police. They were not Shilluk, and were naturally enough unaware of Shilluk customs. After the greetings to the Reth, a man from a particular clan should spear the bull, but there was nobody from the clan present. Eventually, a Land Rover was sent to fetch the missing man, and the bull was killed. But things went from bad to worse. That night, the chiefs did not sleep in Debala as custom requires they should. It was alleged that the government police chased them away. Eventually, Kranyoref Bol, the most knowledgeable of all the chiefs, and the master of ceremonies, arrived from Pushoda to sort things out.
Big Mac, what's up? You quit? You won't go quite again. Way up. When I find the Cuban, the Pania, who can you come and when I find the Cuban Yabby? Done, you go on. Can I go me young when you can hear I get? Who be a big fool? They will never you. Are you dear? Are you come? Are you grand? Fine. Yeah. Then I just talk. That boot cooler, a billion. You more linear. Yeah, the job go over this. Very job. But what? Mamma will begin like you call it. Give my chat in bell, care to begin. The job when I fight and in the other rocker. When I didn't need to fight, tell you. You're looking to fight your cat. Who go coming? Who walk? Who call you? You know, you are by you're a jar and we share the point. You know, come a jar of conflict. You're coming. I'm an idea. You're a jar, I'm an idea. Can you very good? Yeah, we don't know. I'm not going to work out. You're a Yahoo. They can I do I'm not going to Yahoo. You get a Ghana government. Then you could have come and I got talking. When I come, I think it's bad. Yes, and I'm out. Yeah, we want to come here, go, but yeah, get a point. I'm going to you almost will get when I go, yeah, get a point. When I go, put a point, go by me with your job. Yeah, we took a bill. I'm a week up, you don't jump. You go one away because I get a point. You know, I'm going to get a win. My program don't jump. Two. What will you come? Yeah, look at where I'm going. Okay. Beginning, they shall come. My youth is a picture. My head on my back. Because you make a go and they go on. When I go, I go, Kalia. Kalia. Okay, Kalokuni, easy. Then you find quick on to cut. Uri for quitting. When they better be
Eventually, the chiefs managed to organize the necessary preparations, and on the fourth morning of his stay in Dapalo, the Reth-elect supporters from the southern Shilluk began to congregate. Everything was ready for the Reth's departure, except for a few details of protocol which had to be settled by the senior chief. The Reth must step over a goat on leaving his temporary home, and the man whose duty it is to hold the goat seems hesitant. Perhaps he hasn't been given the right present. And on leaving Dabala, the Recollet has to step over a bull. It's important that it's facing in the right direction. Meanwhile, Nyakango and his supporters have left their temporary resting place 3 miles to the north of Bushode and are marching towards the Recollet. Gradually, the gap between the two closes. The supporters of the Recollet will halt at a dry riverbed believed to mark the very center of Shilluk country, just outside Bushode. Its name means unity of the people. Nyakango's army is already drawn up on the other side. Chickens are considered troublesome creatures, and one is held up, perhaps to remind Adeleke of all the troublesome people he will have to tolerate. An advance party of Nyakango's army gives the Recollet a cow to step over as he crosses the dry riverbed. Finally, messenger runs back and forth between the Recollet and Nyakango, carrying messages of scorn between the two. Nyakango taunts the Recollet by saying that he's angry and will never permit him to enter Bushode. The Recollet replies that not even Nyakango can frighten him. When the ritual abuse is over, the mock battle can begin. The two armies edge closer to each other, and Nyakango and Dak begin their final advance towards the Recollet. Dak captures the Recollet and hands him over to Nyakango. At the same moment, the two armies begin to hurl their stalks of maize at each other. battle is a ritual drama whose outcome is predetermined. It involves the whole population in a mock conflict which reinforces the theme of the ceremony, the unity of the Shilluk nation. Breaths are honoured not primarily because of their own quality, but because of the office they hold in direct line from Nyakanga. The followers of Nyakanga always defeat the followers of the Reth. The office is more powerful than the man. Nyakanga leads the Reth off to his shrine in Pashur. Here, screened from the gaze of the people, the Reth will be possessed by Nyakanga, whose spirit will enter into him. The effigy returns to the shrine. Water is poured over the new Reth, perhaps in the hope that the rains will be plentiful during his rule. The spiritual climax over, the political finale remains. The Reth spends 2 nights in these 4 houses. He is bathed and shaved, and then dressed up in the silver bracelets, ivory armbands, and antelope skins. On the final day, the chiefs and the senior elders gather beneath the mound. Each chief rises in turn to advise the Reth. This is the last time that they can speak their minds to him. The chief of Nagya.
Can you go on? Young Lavana. And until I be better on you and I get that you I do what I work in here. Don't have me go on, came when you don't know why you don't even have a word. Don't have me go on. Cabin, then in the band, and I want you to jump. I am on. Don't think about that. Mate, you better mate. If I'm not quite, you don't, I don't find it. Mate, I'm going to make things down. Thế cái nó dùng chất cái băng là nó quấy rồi cả mày thế cái nó ui quá đấy à dòng mà cái nút mà cái thứ chụp mà như vậy đâu mày nè này
Chief of Noon.
Thế mình đi đến đâu vậy? Hay lúc quay đến đây. Thế bây giờ mình mau cái này mau luôn cái này. Thế bây giờ bây giờ bui alo di bui cái này. Mau chung cái bui thế. Ở trên cái này bang. Alo di trên chỗ này bang thế. Mấy cái mình chơi thế. Thế cái nhang. Ôi chú mà cái coi mình. Yang với một cái điều bên, lấy cái gì mà cái đuôi mọc, cái mình lo cái này, cái đó này, cái phốt bay, à đâu, cái gì cái này, ta nó cái gì nhỉ, gì thôi, lấy cái nào cũng.
The last two to speak are the Chief of the Extreme North and the Chief of the Extreme South. In the old days, they were the protectors of the country's frontiers. The Chief of Momo.
Now I become good. Tapi ni macam kopi bukan. Ini dengan jipiu. Jipi nyawan, lu je kanan, lu dah penkai di kena tap. Begini madai. Yang bawat, yang right. Lagi kopi. Bukan cuci nawan dengan ni. Bukan tu buat itu kan? Kau nggak right. Hebben we done? Đi chưa? Ô tô là gì? Ui ô cô chống đạc quay. Cái miền miền nào còn lên đây? Cái miền nào còn chết chết? Cô đi kia? Giờ đi bôi đi chết chết. Chết cái cái.
Chief of Tonga.
Cái này lùi về núi chơi, đi bay chơi khom chơi. Cái này nó qua cái là khom cái gì? Để lại cái như vậy. Hoặc là buổi nhà khom gì? Buổi như vậy, Muna lele to ko boni kuje. Agora wa wi ti boni. Buwe. Iba cho ko boni. Boni ko ngani. Ruba ruma abela rumuki. Upaje. Upaje ke ngani ke ku piwi. Ke kan ka kwa lao. Ma kwa ni ngani ke ba ka ji. Kai ko bi to ko. Iya. Ko da di ko ni ya. Kenya baba. Ana yi wa ni ti. Ba wa ni ti. Yi ku je ne. Ko lu ake. Ta ko me. Yi ku je. Dan. Ko ko ma le. Dan ne ku me. Ka ga ku. Ka ga ku. Ko me. Lengi rumba du ku. Kai lengi ma du ku. Kai lengi ma du ku. Ka penki. Badia peri. Na ku.
Finally, the ref writes to reply.
Ana ura boro je ta ura tin fa jana ngani ko ko ba duni yu kana ga ni jerka ja tuwe ga kai ba duni yu kana ga ni jerka ja ga ga kai ta ko su ta una re ni una tin fa te nya mo ni yo a ko jo ga ni ko o yu rian kana ja ti el ga la no kan ga mo ni ti o ga mo ga ti o na gi ni chwal ga war gel ani to ga la mi ba di yo le chono mo ga na ga
In his speech, I ministers and high officials in the government of the Sudan. Like their government, they want to bring greater development, education and democracy to the country. Ayangane must be aware that this will inevitably lead to a decline in his own power and prestige. The increase in educational opportunities is already affecting the traditional social order, basis it is on inherited rank.
Kí Ọ̀ṣun kó lè gòkè àgbà.